I mean, whatever EC Comics did was banned in the Comics Code. It was clearly an effort by a bunch of publishers to put the big guy out of business. And so all of that mentality was just old news. It was like dealing. The industry was like the condition the industry was in was like an adult who had been a battered child, still wincing in terror from an enemy that wasn't there anymore. And so it's been almost like this very long therapy session that the comics industry had to go through.
So, but how would you describe the state of the comic industry now?
Vigorous. I like it. I mean, I think that there's a greater variety available in what's coming out in more comic. I mean, I think that there's some confusion, of course. There always is. I would like to see much more variety. Not only in terms of what is done, but who it's done for. We need to start going after the youngsters again. Because we can't just keep playing to an older and older audience. And even though a lot's been done about the gender issue, comics still are pretty much about muscle-bound guys who jump around and fly. And there's a whole another kind of human being out there that isn't male.
Well, I mean, one advantage that comics, and obviously the predominant ones, superhero comics and the sci-fi ones used to have, was that they were able to take you places where movies and TV shows couldn't.
Right.
Right? And they had characters that, you know, video games couldn't do. Right? But now, like that's changed. So how can comics grab people's attention at this point in our culture and you know, and become more, like, sort of more prominent?
Well, we have some advantages. One is that comics is a literary form. Some might call it the last bastion of reading. And so it can appeal to that quiet voice. That when the adventure on the big screen tends to be very loud. It can also tell stories that are quieter in general. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to see some other genre, like, you know, romance or gothic romance and such, you know, explored in comics again. And the comics can crawl inside characters' heads and actually give you their thoughts. I mean, it's one device you just don't see hardly at all anymore in film is the voiceover of what the guy's thinking or the gal's thinking, because it's become something that just doesn't feel right like it used to. Where in comics, the first-person narrative is perfectly acceptable because it's a literary device. We just have to analyze what our strengths are and play to them. Mostly, we have to focus on the things that make them joyful. Chief among these, in my mind, is drawing. There's no other form that uses drawing and the absolute joy of drawing the way comics do. My best example of this is Calvin and Hobbs by Bill Waterston. His absolute joy of drawing just explodes off the page. You cannot stop looking at it. And that we have to savor that. Comics have an astonishing array of artists. It's huge. The number of artists, the quality of art. The basic, like, baseline level of draftsmanship and cartooning in comics is high beyond belief. And that's another thing that we can just celebrate as much as possible.
For that, I actually, speaking of like the internal voice,